Good morning. It's Monday, September 30th. Here's what we're working on so far. Today marks Canada's 4th official National Day of Truth and Reconciliation.
An Israeli airstrike has hit Lebanon's capital of Beirut this morning.
And a Minneapolis house featured in the 1984 movie Purple Rain debuts on Airbnb. Good morning and thanks for joining us. September 30th is National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We acknowledge that we, CHCH, here on Innovation Drive, are within the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation.
So as part of the city of Hamilton, we are also situated among the traditional territories, the neutral land and the Haudenosaunee on land, which is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuits, and Métis people.
We thank the Mississaugas of the Credit and our First Nations neighbors for sharing this land with us, and we commit ourselves to listening, learning, celebrating, and developing respectful and meaningful relationships with one another.
Yeah, so we'll be dedicating our show to that topic throughout the morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Happy Monday. Let's bring Brian Wood in here for a look at the forecast on this Monday morning. Fabulous day yesterday, wasn't it?
It was beautiful outside yesterday.
You like yesterday?
I didn't think we were going to get that. It was a little cloudy, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Well, then all of a sudden it got better as the day went on, and it turned out to be a lovely day. I know it kind of started out iffy, but today we're looking at some sunshine. Now, Hamilton is going to struggle with the sun for the day today. Other areas will get a bit more sunshine, and as well, because of that, Hamilton is going to struggle with the day today as far as the temperature is concerned. We should hit 21 degrees. Other areas 21 to 23 degrees, so low 20s temperature. Humidex about 26. We're sitting at 16 degrees right now, so that's actually a mild start. That's double where we figure we should be to start a day this time of year. So we're looking pretty good for the day. The showers will settle in for the day tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up. I want to talk about traffic. Construction, of course, happens a lot overnight this time of year. But it's starting to come to an end. We have nothing here at the 403 and Waterdown Road. It's just getting a little bit busier now that we're after 6 o'clock. Let's check some MTO traffic cameras. QEW Centennial Parkway, doing fine. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. This is on the Hamilton side. Nothing there east of Appleby. I do want to mention, starting today, we've got construction in Hamilton, John Street, and St. Joseph's Drive. That's going to impact the Jolly Cut. So Arcleton access, Jolly Cut, there will be no access to the upbound lanes, and one downbound lane will be open. There'll be other restrictions in the area as well. So that's going to impact the traffic for the next week. All right, we'll look at weather and traffic in detail coming up right now. The news.
Thanks, Brian. September 30th marks the annual National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a day to both celebrate Indigenous culture and honor survivors of residential schools and the children who never returned home. Simone Gavras joins us live from West Harbour in Hamilton for more on the events taking place today. Simone.
Good morning, Emily. Well, around 7 a.m. this morning, just behind me, there's going to be a sunrise ceremony. It's going to be around a sacred fire, and it'll be led by an elder. But today and for the rest of the afternoon, it's about sharing stories, educating, but most importantly, it's all about reflection. Now, residential schools in Canada operated for over 100 years, with the last one closing in the late 90s. More than 150,000 Indigenous children were taken from their homes and stripped of their language, culture, and identities to assimilate them into Euro-Canadian culture. Many children experienced physical and sexual abuse, and all suffered from being alone and away from their families. It's led to generational trauma that's still being felt today. Now, this is the 4th year since National Day of Truth and Reconciliation has been recognized as a statutory holiday in the country. It's one of the 94 calls to action in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report that was published in 2015. The day also coincides with Orange Shirt Day, which started 11 years ago. The origin of the day comes from Phyllis Webstad, who had her new orange shirt that was bought from her grandmother taken away on her first day at the residential school at the age of 6. Now, community members are invited to attend the sunrise ceremony that'll be taking place in about an hour from now. There's also going to be a number of events happening around Hamilton and Burlington, as well as the Niagara region, to mark National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. For now, sending things back over to you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Simone. Let's take a look at what's open and closed on this Monday because of Truth and Reconciliation Day. In Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara, banks, post office, all federal offices, including passport offices and Service Canada offices, will be closed. Grocery stores, malls, they remain open on regular hours. Beer store, LCBO hours, they will not be affected. All Ontario schools, universities, and colleges, they remain open today as well. Waste collection, it will also not be affected.
Police are investigating after a man was found dead next to a vacant church in central Hamilton. The body was discovered in an alleyway on Main Street East Sunday morning, and the cause of death remains undetermined. Friends and family have identified the man as 29-year-old Daniel May, who was last heard from just after midnight on Saturday.
He knew he talked to his girlfriend at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he seemed intoxicated, but that's all we knew. That's all we knew. And then I just rushed down here. He was a great guy. He was cleaning up. He was living in Berks Falls with his girlfriend. He came back to visit somebody, and then this happened.
Daniel was an awesome kid. Loving, kind. Got hanging around with the wrong people in the downtown core for a long time. Went up north, got clean. Heard he was visiting, didn't even know he was in Hamilton. Got a call, it was read on Facebook, his mother claiming that it was her son that passed away. My stepdaughter called me freaking out.
Local residents say the vacant church was often a shelter for the homeless. A woman's dream of home ownership in Hamilton has turned into a nightmare. Aisha Agar bought a house on Ellis Avenue 6 months ago, but only moved in yesterday. She says the previous tenants refused to leave on the agreed date of May 31st. After a lengthy eviction process, a sheriff finally removed the tenants, but even then they made things difficult. When Agar finally entered her new home, she found it in complete disarray.
There is immense amount of garbage everywhere. There, you can see the flies, you can smell animal poo and pee everywhere. You can see like holes in the wall. You can see like wires coming out of the wall and the ceiling. You can see drug paraphernalia everywhere. This is a civil issue. How is this a civil issue? They destroyed my home completely.
The homeowner says this ordeal has cost her thousands of dollars and will likely cost her thousands more. Now, Brian Wood mentioned this off the top here, but if you drive through the downtown core of Hamilton often, your commute is likely going to get a little bit more complicated starting this morning. New construction is set to begin today and finish at the end of October. The stretch of James Street between King and Main is being shut down while the road is resurfaced and adjusted. Now, at the same time, the intersection at John Street and St. Joseph's Drive will be closed for a week to install new sewers. Finally, outbound lanes of the Jolly Cut will be blocked until 6 a.m. on October 7th, while one downbound lane on the cut will stay open during construction.
All right, let's get into a sports line, checking in on what happened in the wide world of sports, like a little football. Story of week 4 of the NFL, how the Buffalo Bills trying for a 4th straight win in Baltimore against the Ravens, who showed off their running game.
Here goes Henry off a big running game against Dallas. Derrick Henry on the run. Hamlin and Lewis chasing at the 40, at the 30. He will score!
Yeah, started early as Derrick Henry busted out of the gate for the longest run in Ravens franchise history at 87 yards to put them up early. He would keep that going. He would finish with 199 yards in the ground. Lamar Jackson would toss a couple TDs, run in for another. This one all Baltimore, as Josh Allen and his Bills could get nothing going in their first loss of the season. They get trounced 35-10, so they fall to 3-1. They are off to Houston on Sunday to try and get back in the win column. Well, in case you missed it, late Friday night, the Ticats reeled off a 4th straight dub with an impressive come-from-behind win in overtime against the BC Lions. Bo Levi Mitchell led his Cats to score 18 points in the 4th to force OT, and then Antoine Litre scored the winning touchdown. Cats pick up their 6th win of the season, but everybody they're chasing for a playoff spot also won, including the Argos. So they sit 4 back of them with only 3 left. and two back of the BC Lions for that crossover spot. They host the Bombers Friday night, needing to keep the winning streak going.
And that will do it.
Yeah, despite creating a bit of drama on Friday by sweeping the States of the President's Cup at Royal Montreal, the U.S. just too tough for the international team to overcome, and they would win a 10th straight President's Cup. It would end up being the most lopsided road victory in history for the States. Now, Dundas native Mackenzie Hughes did have some great moments over the weekend, but would lose his match yesterday to Max Homa. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was there to hand the American team captain Jim Furyk the trophy as their domination in this competition continues. It was a fun weekend of golf, despite the outcome. And it's finally over. Blue Jays season wrapped up. Came to a disappointing end with a 3-1 loss to the Miami Marlins down at the Dome as they would get swept and finish with a record of 74-88. One of the bright spots of the season was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who put some of the best numbers of his career. He would fall short of becoming the 6th Blue Jay to reach the 200 hit mark, but did receive a nice standing ovation as he was pulled from the game in the 8th. Big offseason ahead for the Jays as they have plenty to do, including locking up Vladdy Jr. to a long-term contract. Let's go to the ice where the OHL got underway this weekend, and after a horrible season last, the Niagara Ice Dogs, what a great start for them with a win in Ottawa, then on Saturday, then yesterday in Kingston. Kevin Heed would score 2 goals in 25 seconds to turn a 2-1 deficit into a 3-2 lead and a 5-2 win. So they are in Oshawa Friday before their home opener Sunday versus Brampton. Bulldogs, they kicked off their home schedule on Saturday with this beauty in Brantford.
Lardis over the line, works wide onto the right, plays it back, prods off the bench, backside Thomas, tick-tock, goal!
Yeah, nice way to start their second season in the Bell City. That highlight reel goal by Jake O'Brien on the brilliant setup. So Dogs win their opener 6-2 over Oshawa after dropping the season opener in Brampton on Friday. Next up is a date with Owen Sound Friday at the Civic Center.
Nick Lardis rotating back into the Brantford zone, plays it through his own feet. Now the self.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, into a Monday morning here. The last day of the month already, September 30th. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, 403 Waterdown Road. That's our exclusive camera. Nothing to see. Looks good. Okay, so we're fine there. Generally, we're okay around the Horseshoe. QEW east of Lake looks good in St. Catharines, all the way through Centennial Parkway toward Fairview. Doing fine. So we're looking at Toronto-bound lanes heading away from us on that camera toward Brant Street. East of Royal Windsor, right around the Ford plant, looks good. And of course, the QEW at Etobicoke Creek will cap off here in Mississauga with a look at traffic. So nothing going on the roads this morning. To our temperature at the moment, we are mild to start a morning here. End of September, a 16-degree start. That's way above seasonal. So 16 right now, a light north-northeast wind that will get lighter as the day goes on, and the humidity up there at 100%. It is mostly cloudy. So for school today, should be 21 degrees today, so that again is above seasonal. Humidex about 26, but as I said, it should be mainly cloudy for the day today. We've got a disturbance to the south of us that's just going to push some cloud cover in. You can see the rain, which is the green on the map there to the south. A cold front is going to push its way across us later in the day tomorrow and into Wednesday, and that's going to bring us some showers, some instability in our forecast as we get through into tomorrow. But today, there's some sunshine, 25 for Niagara, cooler for Hamilton at 21, everybody else 22 to 23 degrees, and a mix of sun and clouds too. A mostly cloudy sky for today. Tonight, it's going to be cooler. Now, temperatures 14 to 12 degrees. We're looking at some fog patches developing. The humidity will be high. The winds will be light, and we're going to get that fog developing. It'll dissipate tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, there's that chance of showers. 22 to 26 will be the temperature range for the Horseshoe. It's just a 30% chance of showers during the day tomorrow, but then a greater chance tomorrow night as we get into Wednesday. So out the door on the 30th morning of September here, it is mostly cloudy. 16 is mild to start a day this time of year. And we'll look at the long-range forecast coming up. Emily, Tim.
Thanks so much, Brian. All right, coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat.
Also, after the break, a little business news on your Monday. And the 3-day strike by dock workers in Montreal is expected to take place this morning. That and other labor news in 2.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Yeah, say good morning now.
Director Mike was like, stop moving.
I was like, do we say good morning? Does she see us?
Sorry. Hi,
good
guys.
morning, Emily.
What's going on?
Hi, good morning. Well, coming up in Chit Chat, Purple Rain Airbnb. Yeah, I'd stay there. Prince?
Yeah.
You wouldn't stay there?
Depends how much.
Yeah.
I'd be excited, but...
Okay. All right. Wow, that was a full conversation of like 6 words that we just had. Okay.
We just made noises. There wasn't much like conversation. We were both like, oh, yeah.
It's a Monday. Yeah, I'm just making noises. That's all I'm doing.
U2 is going to release a shadow version of How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. And the AMAs are going to be celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Okay, a little behind the scenes here. For the first time ever in our little previews, Emily has what she has coming up in the teleprompter so she can remember, I guess.
Why are you throwing me under the bus?
I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Why are you doing that?
You always did it on memory before, and today you were reading it.
Well, I think it's because the control room is tired of me running from the studio into the, or running from the newsroom into the studio, being like, "What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I talking about?"
Yes. So. That's why.
Thanks, Katie.
Katie says yep.
Yep. Let me get to business news that's also in the teleprompter, so I will read that as well. The Canadian dollar is down 10 basis points, trading at just under 74 cents US. Gold up over $7, $26.75.20 an ounce. Crude oil up 28 cents, 68.46 a barrel. Okay, off to Europe we go. Hey, Europe. Happy Monday. Markets are down across the board in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
And over in Asia, markets in Tokyo saw a significant drop, while markets in Hong Kong and Shanghai were up. In North American markets, the TSX lost 77 points on Friday. The Dow added 137, and the Nasdaq dropped 70 points. And in business news, Americans could soon struggle to find favorite foods and products. A major port strike may start tomorrow, halting deliveries to retailers. Union workers at 3 dozen facilities covered by 14 port authorities from Maine to Texas are threatening to walk off the job. The deadline is just after midnight on Tuesday, and it could be the most disruptive strike the U.S. has seen in nearly 5 decades. Economists say the potential strike would impact supplies of items like chocolate, alcohol, fruits, hot peppers, and European cars. The International Longshoremen's Association is calling for a $5 per hour pay hike per year over a 6-year contract. That raises the top hourly wage from $39 to $69 U.S. and keeping its current ban on fully automated equipment.
So meanwhile, Canada's second largest port faces a potential strike later this morning. Longshore workers at the Port of Montreal are set to go on strike at 7 this morning at 2 terminals if a tentative contract agreement has not been reached. Their union served a 72-hour strike notice on Friday, warning of a potential work stoppage from Monday until Thursday at 2 terminals owned by Termont Montreal. The QP-affiliated union local says 350 members of the more than 1,100 who work at the port would be part of the labor action affecting roughly 35% of container shipments. Workers are demanding higher wages. Now, last night, the Maritime Employees Association says it has tried all possible means of avoiding a strike, but has been unsuccessful.
And sticking to labor news, striking workers at the Metro Vancouver grain terminal are returning to work ahead of a new labor agreement set to be ratified this week. The tentative deal between grain workers Union Local 333 and the Vancouver Terminal Elevators Association led to the removal of the picket lines on Saturday, ending the strike that had paralyzed grain shipments for 4 days. Canadian grain producers had urged a resolution in the dispute, noting about 52% of the country's grain moves through these Metro Vancouver terminals, last year en route to being exported. Workers will vote on the agreement this Friday.
All right, coming up on 6:21 on your Monday morning. Nice warm Monday morning, above seasonal. Brian will let us know how long that's going to last after this.
6:24 is the time. We've got our pen. We can continue the show. All right, well, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about traffic here right now. The QEW in 7th looks pretty good this morning. Nothing going on in St. Catharines. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Looks good. Same with east of Appleby Line all the way through Lorne Park. We'll dip into the 403 west of Mavis, doing okay. Keep in mind construction in Hamilton. Jolly Cut is going to be impacted by this. No access upbound on the Jolly Cut, and one downbound lane will be open. It's because of construction around John Street and St. Joseph's Drive. Okay, to our temperatures at the moment. 16 degrees Hamilton, Grimsby, 17 Mississauga, 18 for Toronto at the moment. Now let's talk about seasonals. Seasonal 17 now for a daytime high, 7 for an overnight low. So that's how we figure we should be starting today. So when I say it's mild at 16, it is mild at 16. Those are our sun times and our records for today. And for school today should be 17 by the first bell and 21 for after school. And still fairly cloudy skies. So today 21, Humidex 28 for the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Tonight down to 12. We'll get some fog developing. Tomorrow 22, fairly cloudy with showers as we get into October tomorrow. Wednesday still lingering showers and then sunshine. Temperature 20 for Thursday and then into the teens as we go through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And we are all breathing a sigh of relief that Tim has finally got his pen back. So we can continue the show now.
It was a scene. So like we have these like boxes, not to like again pulling back the curtain. This is a box that I sit on or our feet sit on, and then the pen went into the box, and so I was dumping the box upside down.
As it turns out, it's a little dusty.
Nobody cleans the insides of the boxes that we sit on or step on because it was a little dusty. Anyways. Boom, got my pen. We're good. So we can talk about this story now.
Perfect.
Thousands of New Zealanders have reclaimed the Guinness World Record for the largest haka performance.
Look at that. Around 6,500 people gathered in Auckland yesterday, breaking the previous record set by France in 2014. The haka, traditionally a ceremonial Maori war dance, was originally used to challenge opponents before battle. It's now a powerful symbol of Maori culture and identity. It's often performed by groups to celebrate unity, especially by New Zealand rugby teams before matches. This record-breaking haka marks a major cultural moment for the country.
That's fascinating. It's so cool to see what the All Blacks, the All Blacks, the rugby team for New Zealand, when they do it, and the opponents, they'll do it right in front of the opponents, looking right at them, and it is intimidating, but it is very, very cool. So I couldn't imagine 6,500 people doing it in front of you.
The amount of noise that would make.
Very intimidating. And as director Mike Corsten, that is what we do before the show, just to get set, ready to go. All right, Monday. We'll see you in a couple minutes.